Oh, hello, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Let me present myself. I'm Sylvain Fontaine, technical specialist here in modern work and security at IT Cloud, and I'm glad that you chose to be with us today for this second session of the Microsoft Business Premium and Copilot Excellent program, a program that is aimed at business decision makers, solution sellers, and also technical staff. Let's take a few minutes to look back at the content of the first session. In that first session, we covered what is Copilot and artificial intelligence. We saw more precisely what Copilot for Microsoft 365 can offer you, a partner, as an opportunity. We saw what kind of assistance Copilot for Microsoft 365 can offer your customers. We covered the aspect of security and the risks related to the management of identities, devices, and data. This is nothing new, however, whether you plan on using Copilot for Microsoft 365 or not. Those security aspects existed before Copilot came along. What is new, however, is the security of applications, or more precisely, artificial intelligence ghost applications, which could end up having access to data. We also saw different data migration scenarios to the Microsoft 365 cloud. We discussed why it is advantageous to consolidate our data in the Microsoft 365 cloud. As for today's session, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat at any moment or at the end if you wish, because we will have time for a Q&A at the end. A lot of material will be shared with you today, and there is a very good chance that you will find the answers to your questions throughout the presentation as we share the information with you. On the other hand, if we are not able to respond to you within the allotted time, we will send you a response after the presentation. So please don't hesitate to ask your questions, and we will do our best to provide you with an answer. If you have information to share with us or to share with the other participants during the presentation, please do so. Do not hesitate to put it in the chat. We encourage your interaction and participation during this session. So let's go ahead with this second session of the Microsoft Business Premium and Copilot Excellence program because Anis has a lot of information to share with us. Anis, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sylvan. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for being with us. It's really an honor for me to be present for this part two of the Microsoft Business Premium and Copilot program. So the first part was a great success, and the videos are still available on our YouTube channel. This session will be present as well. I'm really thrilled to be presenting this amazing tool, such as Copilot. We're literally making history. We're only at the beginning of the AI era, and I already have the impression that its possibilities are almost limitless. Imagine in a few months or even years, it's definitely a trend you don't want to miss. And those who will benefit the most will certainly be those who got there first. So you've come to the right place, and once again, thanks for joining us for the next few hours. For those who doesn't know me, my name is Anis Mamri. I'm the Microsoft Communication and Collaboration Specialist at IT Cloud. For almost a year now, I've been working with partners, guiding them towards the best solutions for their Microsoft environments within their companies. I also give regular presentations like this one, as well as more individual training sessions with each partners. I'll be doing the first part of this session, and then I'll be assisted by my colleague Sylvain. Without further ado, let's get started and see what's on the menu. So the agenda for this part two is divided into three main segments. The first one is configuration of Copilot for your customer's environment. We'll make sure you understand all the issues involving the implementations of Copilot in your customer's environment. Then Copilot, the user's experience. What might your customer's new Copilot environment looks like, and what might be the major changes as a result. then how to optimize Copilot using the art of prompting presented by Sylvan, and finally, an opportunity to make Copilot presentations to your customers. We're going to offer you an incredible opportunity to be a double winner by offering Business Premium and Copilot services to your customers. So that's what we've got on the menu for the next few hours, and of course, with some demos and answers to your questions. With that being said, let's get started. As this is a part two, where we've probably got few people who weren't lucky enough to be able to attend the first session. So I'm going to give you a brief summary of what Copilot is and what exactly it represents in terms of added value, as well as how it works and how it's configured. Configuring Copilot for your customer's environment is the first part of a successful implementation. So it's important that you understand all the issues involved so that you can optimally guide your customers. Here we present Copilot in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So obviously it's a revolutionary AI. It's integrated into your or everyday tools, so such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook. It's Copilot transform the way we work. So to whether it's to create, collaborate, its potential to improve our productivity and stimulate our creativity. But how does it work? So to better understand it, let's ask yourself, what is Copilot? Copilot is an AI based on Microsoft artificial intelligence. It uses the same language model as ChatGPT, the one from the startup OpenAI. Copilot is integrated into all Microsoft application and experiences, including Microsoft 365, Windows 11, Edge, and Bing. It is capable of understanding and answering your questions, whether it's written or spoken. What's more, thanks to the also the integration of Dolly, it's another OpenAI tool. So Copilot can also generate and create images according to your criteria. So in this slides, we have the Microsoft 365 application, such as Word, Teams, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, that you are already familiar with, enabling us to work and collaborate on a daily basis. We also have the Microsoft Graph, which provide access to data stored in Microsoft 365 services. Custom application can use the Microsoft Graph API to connect to data and use it in custom application to improve organizational productivity. We also have the semantic index. So this is basically it works like the human brain. When we have words, it comes to make connections with other ones. So, for example, if I say elephant, you'll directly imagine trunks, and maybe even Africa or memories of the zoo when you were younger. On a more professional level, if you're talking to a Copilot about your company budget, the program will make a direct link with your finance professional and perhaps suggest that you send him an email or search his documents for useful information to your research. And then there's the large language model. What role does the large language model play in Copilot for Microsoft 365? This is divided into several stages. So the first stage is core linguistic capabilities, process users' input, and generate contextual human text. Next, it facilitates the comprehension and response generation, interprets users' queries, and develops appropriate response. The foundation of for the AI interaction LLMs are an integral part of Copilot abilities to integrate intelligence within Microsoft 365 application and enhance user experience. Their sophisticated language processing dramatically improves user efficiency and productivity. Now that all is explained, let's see how it all fits together. So the Copilot system uses the input data in two stages, matching the user's prompts to the most relevant skills and parameters, and two, determining which prompt results are the best response to the user prompts. The first step corresponds to step 1 to 4, um, of the data flow diagram here, and the second steps is part of the step 6 of the diagram. The prompts and connectors you create extend and personalizing Copilot according to your customers are better if you are working in a large data system. So if you have a lot of data, the experience will be better and enhanced. So obviously, this is something you all need to keep in mind. So here's the whole package you get when you choose Copilot for Microsoft 365. So basically, your everyday assistant. You get the productivity in the various Microsoft 365 apps using your data, obviously protected, and also with the data available on the internet. Also, the linguistic model technology and the Microsoft Graph will give you the best possible results towards your reality. Also, the Copilot Studio is a way of pushing back the boundaries by allowing you to create your own AI for your sector. So, if we could have a customer, so for example, let's say a lawyer, and he wants to make sure that you can literally create a copilot with database linked to Quebec laws. So that is for example, if his employee asks copilot questions, they will be really redirected towards the regulation strictly in place in Quebec, so which saves an enormous amount of time when you consider how different the laws are from province to province. As we speak, there are currently several Copilot available, but we're really going to look at the Copilot for Microsoft 365. We often get the question, what's the differences between the free version and the paid Copilot? So is it really uh, an advantage to be paying 30 bucks a month? Well, yes. Let me explain you. So the free Copilot is the one you can find in Edge. So Edge, it's a browser just like Chrome, Safari, or Firefox. It lets you search in the internet in the same way as ChatGPT, which is also free. Its functionalities are limited and don't allow you to interact with your M365 data and applications. On the other hand, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is specifically designed for your organization, offering integration with the application in your M365 tenant, as well as additional integration with Teams, Microsoft Graph, and you get all the customizations with Copilot Studio, so all the possibilities. The cost of it is $30 Canadian dollar per user per month. So basically, you can pay only one time for the whole year. So it's going to be around 488 and 40. It's and the following prerequisites are Microsoft 365 E5, E3, Business Standard, and or Business Premium. So I think they also added the Office E3, E5, And the following operating system, obviously, Windows 10 or 11. To help you understand, I'll show you what Copilot for Edge looks like and where to find it. I'm going to show you that in the demo section. Um, and just have a look at to how to sum up. So basically, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is an assistant that supports you at all time. So based on your company data, your content, your context, so literally your reality, enhanced security features, and but regarding that, we're gonna take a look at that in more details a little bit later. It's easily monitorable. You'll be able to accurately track the contribution this technology make to your daily environment. We'll come back to this later. But thanks to the Copilot dashboard, you'll be able to see in real time how Copilot is being used and optimized by your user. And of course, Copilot is a self-learning artificial intelligence. So since we're only at the beginning of its development, the more we use it, the better it will be, and the better the result will be, obviously. So the benefits of Copilot for Microsoft 365 that we've seen so far are very simple. Enhanced productivity, you can concentrate on your work and the tool will take care of summarizing it, emailing, or even recommending or your schedule. Enhance creativity, collaborate effectively to write, edit, or analyze content. Then there's the question of security and integration into your or your customer's environment. Copilot is a tool that will only improve your day-to-day tasks. However, in order to implement it, you'll need to meet a few technical requirements. Let's take a look at some of them. So just like I said earlier, um, E3, E5, Business Premium, or a standard license. You will also need the Entra ID, a OneDrive account, of Office applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, access to Outlook, Teams, Loop. Note that the more data you have, the richer your experience with Copilot will be. Just imagine a world where your entire sales department have Copilot, and now imagine another where it's just the CEO, for example, of the company. So it's not going to be the same result at all. Also, the amount of data made available to Copilot makes the experience better. It's important to note that technical requirements may change in the future, but as we speak right now, it's really what's in place. And yes, also Office E3 and E5 were added to the prerequisites. When we talk about Copilot, when we have to obviously talk about safety, so security is a fundamental aspect. Now we can see that the level of security depends on the M365 license you have. If you or your customer is currently using a business standard license, protection will be weaker and Copilot functionality will be affected. Um, with business standard, it will be possible to prohibit Copilot from processing data in certain directories or and apply the basic features, security features. And in contrast, Business Premium, you'll be able to set up access conditional policy. So conditional access policies, you have the access to the Microsoft 365 apps across all devices. You also have the labeling, and you have the e-discovery. also. So with Business Premium, Copilot inherits the security, compliance, and confidentiality policies defined in Microsoft 365, giving you a total control over your data. So your information remains secure, and it's dedicated partition, and it will never be used outside your organization. So you can securely access precise, relevant answers to your business and professional contexts. So, in order to better understand the differences between business standard and business premium for Copilot, I'll put forward three situations that your customers may encounter, and we'll evaluate together the solutions to the problems. So I'm gonna read them together, and then we'll answer to them. The first situation, we want our employees to increase their productivity while protecting our data and resources. So allowing employees to use both work and personal devices to access company resources can make them more productive. However, it also opens up the possibility for bad guys to get into the company's data or even steal it. So the question is, how can companies enable new levels of employee productivity with tools like Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 while safeguarding company data and resources? Um, I don't know if you guys have any idea, but I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to think about it, and if you want, you can type in the chat. So the solution is Microsoft 365 Business Standard and Business Premium includes so it includes the MFA to ensure secure access to M365 resources and help prevent loss or stolen passwords. But as you can see, Business Premium builds upon this with additional access control and tools to help to keep the information from being saved or leaked outside your organization. So it's basically um, with the conditional access, it's another layer of security that you have. In this second scenario, allowing employees to access, analyze, and work with data from different parts of an organization can make them more productive, but it also brings the risk of accidentally sharing or revealing confidential or sensitive information. The question is, how can companies ensure that sensitive or personally identifiable information is not necessarily exposed when using Copilot for Microsoft 365? And once again, I'll give you a couple of seconds. So with business standard can prohibit the inclusion of sensitive data and exclude sensitive file when using Copilot by adjusting permissions in tools like SharePoint and OneDrive. Um, the thing is, business premium can further secure your sensitive data by adding sensitivity labels to M365 content used by Copilot, and have Copilot cite these labels in its outputs. So this ensure you only employees with specific permissions can have Copilot include and share sensitive data accordingly. And the third one is businesses focused on growth require a diverse range of tools to stay ahead of the competition. So, however, without the right system in place, monitoring the usage of these resources and the data they produce can be difficult. The question is, how can companies monitor interaction with Copilot for Microsoft 365 and support related regulatory compliance or e-discovery requests. Once again, couple of seconds. So business standards and business premium both can create audit logs of Copilot interaction and apply retentions and deletion policies. While business standard has basic content search to search Copilot generated content across M365 resources and export the results, premium provides additional e-discovery capabilities to create cases, assign managers, and apply a legal hold on that content as needed during any investigations. These different scenarios highly highlight the differences between having a copilot with standard and with a business premium. It's really not the same experience. As you can see, the conditional access, the fact that you can manage the access to some M365 apps, also the labeling and the e-discovery makes it more secure. So it's a better experience for you and your customers. Here are the three the different applications you'd use with the business premium and copilot. So you manage overprivileged and risky users. It's with Microsoft Intro ID. Mitigate risk, device risk with Microsoft Intune. Prevent overexposure of data. Purview and discover and control the use of AI apps. It's with Defender. We look at well, obviously we looked at them, each of them in more details in the part one, presented in February. I remind you that it's still available on our YouTube channel. Um, and once the security part is completed, so all we need to do now is to configure Copilot for your customer's environment. And to do so, so first of all, let me reassure you that Copilot integration to your customer's environment is completely transparent. So Copilot integrates uh, with your existing applications such as Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, and won't disrupt your employees' work. It's really a time saving, productivity enhanced, and creativity boost companion. Um, Before configuring Copilot, we need to ask ourselves three questions. Here are, Here are the questions to ask yourself before setting up Copilot. Who should I give the first Copilot seat to? It's imperative to ask yourself which department would benefit the most from this and facilitate the adoption of users' license. So we saw earlier that Copilot works better when we have several licenses in the same department. So just like the example of the CEO I just gave you, and how can we get the employees to be up and running quickly? So will training be necessary, or are your employee quite adapt with the new technology? And also, how can we measure the impact? So you could think of a sales department that sees its leads number increased in the months following Copilot. So if they make more sales, it's mostly due to the time saved with Copilot. So I'm going to share my screen now to show you how the Copilot admin centers looks like. You should now be able to see my screen. So So as you guys know, you're fully aware of the M365 Admin Center. So basically, if you want to assign uh, Copilot license, so you can either go there, you assign it, or as you can see, you have here on your left side the the Copilot segment, and then you will have this sort of um, admin center. So you'll have here all the licenses available in your tenant. So obviously this is a test tenant for me, so I only have one license. Um, but you'll see that you can manage all the licenses, all the users. You also have the latest info, so all the news, and as you can see, it's up to date. Also, some resources, so Copilot resources, Copilot Lab, some documentations for your IT. We have here some. Here's you can track all the logs of your Copilot in your in your company, and also you have here the Copilot in Binge, Edge, and Windows. So you can basically, if you want, give access or remove it to your users. You have the data security and compliance. um, you have the if you want to add some plugins. So if we click on the data security and compliance, as you can see, we have the sensitivity labels, the retentions policies, the audit, the discovery. So it's all the things we just talked prior. So if we click, for example, on the sensitivity labels, we're gonna we're gonna get to preview. As you can see, we're gonna have all the labels available in our um, environment. So just like I said, this one is a test tenant, so I don't have much data. But for your personal tenant, you will see that it will be it will be different, and you can assess and create new labels. You also have all the alerts. You can have the policies here, the audit, the like I said, the e-discovery. So basically, here is everything you need to if you want to make any changes regarding your security and in Copilot. Also, I wanted to show you guys this optimization assessment. So basically, it's sort of a checklist. So you just have to enter the to answer the questions. So it's around 20 questions. So you just have to type in and answer the questions, and it's I think it's around 30 or 20, something like that. And at the end they will give you an email with your results. So as you can see, you will have your for example, your profile readiness, your productivity tool readiness, and also your data security uh, readiness. So this is for, as you can see here, we lack of the security, so we have to make changes to get up to 100. The best thing in that is that they will give you links, um, and on the stuff you need to work on, whether it's blogs or YouTube videos. So all you have to do is make those changes and then do the assessment again, and to see if you have a better score. Um, Also, I wanted to show you guys the Copilot dashboard. So once you set up the Copilot in your environment, so you'll see you'll have these the Copilot dashboard. So here you can see the impact of it, how many hours are being saved. Um, so as you can see in the meeting, the chats, how Copilot can transform your work, how many documents, emails. Um, Also, we can see the adoption, how many users in your company are using it and how. So as you can see, you have all the numbers for each applications, and you can have the action per user also, and the sentiment and how is it seen in your organization. Does your employees like it or not? Also, um, I wanted you to, because people don't really understand the differences between the Bing Chat Copilot and the Copilot that is $30 a month. So here we are in the Edge. So basically, I just opened up and clicked on the Copilot icon and just made it bigger. And I'm gonna ask Copilot to generate a PowerPoint presentation of the solar eclipse of the April 8th in Montreal. So let's see what's going to be the result. So see here so Copilot in the Bing chat. So they can't really generate a PowerPoint, but they said that he can give us some tips and hints to how to make a good presentation. Um, let's now try in the PowerPoint itself. So we have to click on Copilot and just copy and paste the same prompt, and let's see what's going to be the result. It's still working on it. All right, I think we got a presentation. So um, the solar eclipse of April 8th. Okay, and it's a video. And we have some informations about what is a solar eclipse, the science of a solar eclipse, the eclipse in Montreal, and also where to view it. So as you can see, they gave us a lot of informations, um, and it's really different, this Copilot and that one in the Edge browser. So this is the differences we can find. I'm just going back to the presentation. Gonna share my screen again. Um, Perfect. So let's back to the presentation. So also, if you guys want the link to the optimization assessment, I can provide it to you in the chat, or you can click on it. And also, we created Excel files that you guys can go and check on our IT Cloud portal. So it's under documentations, webinar, and the excellence program. So you can find the French version and the English version out there. So after revealing the mysteries of prerequisites and implementations, what can employees or users expect once Copilot is up and running? So we'll start by looking at how Copilot can help you prepare your company-wide pitch, and we'll also see how Copilot can help your sales and finance department on a day-to-day basis. Last but not least, Sylvain will talk about the importance of prompting for your users. So with Copilot, you can stay on top of what's new in your industry and never miss a thing in terms of information in your team's meeting. So basically you can use it to look at the internet and make sure that you don't miss anything. In your teams you can ask him to summarize, and with this document you can modify it in Word, create presentations in PowerPoint, and create meetings as well, and send an invites in Outlook. So as you can see, it's really present in a lot of spheres. Um, from workshopping sales enablement to conducting industries research to creating proposals, Copilot works alongside sales teams, handling administrative and routing uh, and repetitive tasks. So as a result, they can save time and focus on building pipelines and closing deals. So the process of lending and upselling customers has many moving parts and pieces, like negotiating and closing, software utilization, collaboration with marketing, and much more. So you really need a tool such as Copilot to help you manage and attain uh, a good time saving in your day to actually be able to do all of these above. So sales rep team and leads needs to use time effectively, and yet they often must open many tabs and sales application to find the information they need. So they are probably part of the majority of employees who like the AI to help them find information. So the inbox of your sales teams are full of auto-generated emails from sales software, meeting invite, and alerts. So Copilot and Outlook enable them to tune out the no reply and other noise to so they can get to what's important. It can also help them get up to speed on what they need before a customer call by synthesizing a long email conversation and highlights the key points for the conversation. Also, sales leads spend a lot of time customizing presentations for a specific prospect. A lot of that is cut cut and paste, and graphics placement in an existing deck again and again. Plus, the presentation needs text that specifically speaks to the prospect pain point. With Copilot and PowerPoint as their AI assistant, they can prompt it to create a customized deck. So, customers and prospects need the sales lead or team's full attention during pitches and presentations, but that can be a difficult part if they're taking notes, right? So you can just ask Copilot in Teams to summarize what's being discussed so far, including points of agreement, objections, and actions. And mid meetings interaction with Copilot are only available to the person who asked. So here you can see, you can have a look at a day in the life of your sales lead. So basically, just uh, working in Outlook, surface new leads, so you can generate emails with Copilot, send new invites, prepare for each pitch. So it can be whether it's on Teams, PowerPoint, Excel. You can ask Copilot to summarize the data, to analyze the data, and at the end of it, you can send all the notes and so basically all the notes you found, whether it's on Teams or Outlook, and this step can also be done by Copilot. So as you can see, it's a real time saving for everyone that works in sales. Now we're going to the financial side of it. So also here we have the impact of the time saving by Copilot. Let's see how we can help the finance team. So obviously the finance team has so much to do when it comes to making sure your balance sheets and performance are where they should be now and in the future, such as technology adoption, risk management, the financial planning, capital management. So it's really a lot of things that they need to do in a daily basis. So with all the numbers responsible for, I'm sure your finance office, like 79% of the people in the world, work trend survey will appreciate having an AI assistant for some of their analytics work. So with Copilot, they can streamline business decision based on finance data. For example, preparing data for analysis can slow your finance manager, analysts, and specialists down, but they can spend so much time organizing spreadsheets that running the numbers for felt more like crawling. The estimated time spent on a data preparation when compared to analytics varies widely, but the consensus is that too much time is spent getting data ready to be analyzed. So Copilot in Excel can help finance employees can ask Copilot to format an Excel spreadsheet so that it's easier to spot the trend and outliers. Um, what if scenario modeling is a core part of finance, but it can be a time consuming and prone to errors. So with Copilot in Excel, you can generate scenarios model that enable them to explore data without modifying modifying it, so they can view the effect of certain conditions on future performance. And when it's time to collaborate on finance or performance plans to share with executives, a manager can use Copilot and Loop to start a presentation based on a data set and invite others to collaborate. So once the group has contributed to the presentation, the manager can ask Copilot and PowerPoints to finalize the language and tailor images until it's ready for sign off. So basically, this is a day in the life of your finance professional. So you analyze the business results in Loop or either Excel. You can summarize the data in Excel as well, and and obviously you can share them um, with Copilot. You just have to ask them to draft a response to that, and Copilot will help you and will guide you in all these three aspects of financial professional day. So that's it for me, and we're going to the Sylvan part, the best practices for using Copilot, and the art of prompting. The floor
All right.
is yours.
All right. Thank you, Anis. All right. So, how do we get started with Copilot, on a daily basis? How do we go about using it? Now, it does tell us that no matter what your role is or what your technical expertise level is, Copilot is here to assist you. Now, it is named Copilot for a reason. We are the pilot, and this is our co-pilot, is our assistant. Ultimately, it will do what we ask it to do, but more importantly, we need to validate the results that Copilot gives us, because ultimately the responsibility is still ours, whether or not we choose to use what is produced by Copilot. Now, if we look on the right-hand side where it says prompt guidance and best practices for all roles. Now, prompts are what? Prompts are how you ask Copilot for Microsoft 365 to do something for you, like creating, summarizing, editing, or transforming. Now, think about prompting like having a conversation. And remember, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is geared towards natural language. So we are able to interact with it using natural language. We don't have to be programmers in order to use Copilot. So we're able to interact with it. It's like having a conversation using plain but clear language and providing context like you would if you're asking that same task to be accomplished by a physical assistant in the office. So we see those four categories. We have goal. So what response do you want from Copilot? So we have to realize that Copilot will do what we ask it to do. But, that information has to be presented to you, made available to you under, a certain format, a certain way. So in this case, we're asking Copilot to generate 3 to 5 bullet points, and then we have context. Why do we need it and who is involved? In other words, what are we going to do with it and who are we going to present it to? In this case, we're going to present phase three to client X. Then we have our third category, which is source. So where do we want Copilot to draw that information from in order for it to prepare that to, in this case, a document, those results? And then we have expectations. It says to use simple language so I can get up to speed quickly. In other words, I want Copilot to produce a document for me, but I don't have time, to ream through pages and pages of a document. I want you to, make it somewhat not too long of a document. Keep it simple, keep the language simple, make a document that I can read through rather quickly. Now, in our next slide, we're going to see the do's and the don'ts of prompting. Now, we get the most out of Copilot by avoiding common pitfalls, by learning what to do and what not to do when writing prompts. Now, if we look at the do's, be clear and specific. In other words, we have to already know what it is that we want as a final product. Copilot is not there to read your mind. It's not there to guess at what possibly you might want or might need out of it. Keep it conversational. Like we said, it's able to, to understand us in our natural language. Give examples if you need to. If you want something a little more specific, you can ask for feedback. Check for accuracy. Make sure that beforehand, the document that you're asking Copilot to draw from, you have to make sure that the data, the information contained within that document is accurate, because you're only going to get as good as a result, as good as what the initial information was. And you can also ask Copilot to provide details, in those as a result in that document, that final document. In the don'ts, we have give conflicting instructions. In other words, we can't tell, a Copilot to do one thing and then in the same sentence or in the same prompt to undo something that we just told it to do. And here we have check for accuracy again. Now, it's there for a very different reason. It's there because once Copilot has been launched and Copilot is busy, providing us with a result from that source document that we told it to go and pull information from, you don't want to be going in that document and changing information, because at that point, you can almost be sure that your results, are going to be off kilter. So the idea is in the do's, we said check for accuracy. So in other words, make sure that that document is accurate. Don't ask Copilot to provide you with sales projections from a document that's got numbers from 6 months ago. And then while Copilot is extracting the data, you realize that, oh, I should have changed this and this number. You don't want to be changing data on the fly while Copilot is accessing that same data at the same time. The other don't is be vague. We have to be precise as to what we require from Copilot. And as well, using slang, jargon, or informal language. We don't need to do that. We need to speak, in a proper language, in a natural language that Copilot will be able to understand for us. All right. So now I'm going to do a little sharing on my own. I'm going to share a virtual machine and we're going to look at some prompts. All right. I think everyone should be able to see my screen at the moment. Can anyone give me a thumbs up just to confirm? Perfect. All right. So let's throw some prompts at Copilot for Microsoft 365. And as we stated before, there are prerequisite licenses, and Copilot for Microsoft 65 is an additional license that we associate with a user in order for that user to be able to use, those all the possibilities that come with Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 rather. All right, so let's go and open this document here. So this is a document on that Microsoft, provided in one of their sections for doing little exercises on prompting. Now, as much as I love tea and I do love chai tea, I did not go ahead and produce this document myself. 7 pages, over 2,200 words. That's just simply wasn't me. But now that we have Copilot associated with the user in question that's using this machine at the moment, we have the Copilot button that appears here in Word. So we're going to call on Copilot. And there's a couple of few basic prompts here already in this window. So we're going to use this one. We're going to tell Copilot, Copilot, give me a summary, summarize this document for me, because 7 pages and 2,200 words is just a little too long for me. So right away, we have Copilots giving us this result. Okay, it's a bit better. And, if I was to put this on regular size page, it would probably fit, within a page and a half or so. But you know what? That's still a little too long for me. So I'm going to tell Copilot to make the summary shorter. Because I'm busy right now. And I'm so busy right now that while Copilot is working, I'm working on another file. I'm sending off an email to someone else to set up an appointment for me, or, reading over his email before I respond to him. So the idea behind this is while Copilot is working for you, you could be doing something else. You don't necessarily have to be looking at the screen waiting for Copilot to show you the result. You can be doing something else. All right, so Copilot is finishing up. All right, so what do we have as a result? Oh, it's a little shorter. Okay. I would say yeah, that might squeeze into a page. So it's a little bit better. All right. Now, what we can also ask Copilot is this document here. I would prefer having, a summary, a little summary of each section, because we have the introduction section, I have product description, I have market trend and demand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Copilot to summarize each one of the section headings. So I'm just going to come and paste this in here, and then we're going to ask Copilot. So this way, we're going to get a little summary relative to each one of these sections in the document. So, a little more apropos, you could say, where I can focus more on maybe there's something in one of these sections that, is really troubling me at the moment that I really, really want to focus on. Or I could share this summary with someone, and say, hey, what do you think about this? Is there something that jumps out at you? Is this something that we should be looking at the moment? So let Copilot finish, and then we'll take a look at the result. All right, so now we've got our different sections here. So now we have, somewhat of a summary of each section, which is a lot better than what we had initially, like introduction. At least now, we got what, one or two paragraphs, which is a bit better than, all of this. So all of this has been summarized in this paragraph, and as well as the product description, and so on. Now, what we could do and this showed us a little bit of this before, we could ask a Copilot to summarize and create a PowerPoint, I'm going to say presentation here, for each one of the section headings. Now, we know that Copilot will not be able to create a presentation from within Word because Word is Word and PowerPoint is PowerPoint. What it will do, however, and we're going to see the result, is it'll create for us some bullet points that we could use and create slides from. Now, it's still a lot better than, reading this whole section and coming up maybe with some key ideas or words that I might want to introduce or some subject areas. At least this way, we can have a summary. But, once again, like we said before, it is really up to us to validate the result that's produced by Copilot, just to see if we're really in agreement. We'll wait till it's done. And that should be our last one. All right. Thought it would let me scroll through the result, but apparently not. Now, what is it busy doing? I'm not quite sure. Okay, something went wrong. Please try again. Okay, something happened in the back end. I don't know, but let's just at least go see what we have at the moment for results. All right, so here from this whole section here, we got, it was able to extract two main bullet points. Then from our product description area, it was able to extract these other two bullet points. So from there, what we could do is we could do open PowerPoint, create some slides, and then come and do a copy paste of this information if that's what we want to do. But we're going to try to do it a different way. So we're going to open PowerPoint. Because as Anish showed us before, from within Copilot, however, sorry, in PowerPoint, we can tell Copilot, to interact with content that is not proper to us, that doesn't belong to us. So we can actually tell it, we can at that point choose any subject. Let's say if we wanted to create a presentation, on something that actually had nothing to do with our organization. So I would say create a presentation, and I'm going to say more precisely, create a presentation on public transport for a group of grade 5 students. So here I'm telling PowerPoint, obviously the output in this case is going to be a presentation because we are in PowerPoint. And I'm telling it what, the subject matter is, and I'm telling it what the context is. I'm telling it who the audience is so that it produces relative content for me for that audience. Now this, it's pulling information that's not proprietary, that there's nothing in my tenant at the moment in my OneDrive or in SharePoint that's relative to public transport. So obviously this is being pulled from the web. All right, so we have a 10-slide presentation on public transport. Now, we have to remember this is geared towards grade 5 students. So obviously, some of the terms and the wording of some of the sentences, are going to be relative to that audience. All right, perfect. Very, very general. Do not run or play on public transport. Here, here we can definitely see, that it was geared towards a specific audience, because, at least I don't think, but it's not typically a directive we give to adults not to run or play on the public transport. So let's try this same example again, but let's change the context. This time, I'm going to ask PowerPoint to create a presentation on public transport, but for a group of university students. And this is where we're going to see that the result will be different, obviously, because it's a different context. It's a different audience that this is being targeted to. All right, the benefits. Right away, it starts with a car. Of course, university students are more than likely, to have a car. So there we go. We're talking about vehicle maintenance, money on gas, parking fees. These are all subject areas that we did not find before for our group of grade 5 students because it just wasn't pertinent for them. Grade 5 students don't own cars. So, here we see more subject areas. Students can avoid the risk of driving in traffic. So, we can see that it's really geared towards that group. But let's just take it a step further. Let's create this again, but this time for a group of university students in engineering. So now we would expect, a little more complicated language or a little more technical, or that, there did be maybe a bit of science behind it. So let's go look. All right, let's go take a look at this. Of course, we have right away, you know, sustained mobility, portability, traffic congestion, carbon emissions, so right away we're a little more, we've increased a little bit the complexity of the results. We're talking about preserving natural resources, which is something we didn't necessarily have, just in that general subject area when we were just asking, for a generic group of university students. All right, so let's go look now at Copilot in Excel. So what can we do with Copilot and Excel? Just going to give you a couple of examples. This is definitely not the definitive guide on prompting, whether it is for Word, PowerPoint, Excel, or whatever. It was just to show you, what some of the possibilities are, within each one of the applications once we have a user that has a Copilot for Microsoft 365 license assigned to them. So Copilot, we're going to call up on Copilot. Now in Excel, your data has to be within a table. So right away, if I place my cursor outside of this data table, it tells me right away that I can only work in an Excel table. So what you have to do preemptively is format your data, put it inside a table, and from there, Copilot for Excel is able to use the data within there. So we're going to say analyze. So I can analyze data and show insights on charts, pivot tables, select our suggested prompt, or describe what you'd like to know. Okay, so I'm going to ask Copilot to list the top sales for each product for 2023. So it's going to go and look inside this table, to see where are the better numbers in regards to sales. Now, I do agree with you at the moment. This is a small spreadsheet. We've only got 12 months. I really only have two specific products, and then I have a column for my total sales. But, just think of this. If you had a spreadsheet that, rather than being based on months, was based on weeks, then instead of 12 months, we would have 52 weeks. And if we had seven, eight, 10 products, let's say, then we'd have just that many more columns horizontally. And it becomes very tricky when I'm looking line per line to try and remember, like, okay, 784. Okay, so all right, this is still not the highest. Then I have to go, oh, this is now my highest one. But then I have to keep in mind 935 as I keep going, which one would be the next highest? I mean, like I said, you could do it this way for this spreadsheet because it's not very big. But ideally, if you had a spreadsheet where you had a lot of data, Copilot could really, come in handy. So let's look at the results of what Copilot came up with. So it's telling us that the highest value of total chai sales is 1117, which by golly it is. And it also tells us the highest value of artisanal chai sales was 690. If we look quickly, yes, as a matter of fact, it is. And the highest value of pre-made chai sales is 587. It just happens to be the first one here. Okay. So that's just fine and dandy. This would be good if I was to send somewhat, by email, let's say a quick summary, but I'm really more of a visual person. I want something on the screen that's going to jump at me. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to tell Copilot to highlight the top sales for each product for 2023. All right. So in this case, Copilot was able to produce for us really it was able to highlight the top sales that in regards to months for this product. So it was able to at least show it to me with a green highlight. So right away visually it's much easier to spot, and this would really come handy, like I said, if we had a much bigger spreadsheet with a lot more data. In that case, it would really save someone hours of trying to go down. Yes, you could sort the columns and all that, but if you want to leave the dates in their original fashion, ascending this way, then at least this way you have a visual clue of where those highest sale numbers are. All right, so let's do another example. We're going to go in Outlook this time. Once again, these are just, like I said, basic examples. So if I have an email and I click on that email, now what I could do is ask Copilot to do a resume for me. It's still in French. I apologize for that. That's from the session this morning. I have not changed my language in this application for this user, but resume by Copilot. So I can ask Copilot to give me a summary of this email. Now, in this case, I do realize that it's a quite a short email, but it could happen, and this has happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to some of you and some of your customers, where someone sends this super long email, so lengthy that in actual fact, you would think that, that email or the content of that email, might belong in an actual document, like in a Word document. But sometimes, people will just, let loose and create these super long emails. Or at least this way, I could ask Copilot to do a summary for me. Now, in this case, it's quite short, but it was able to pull out the most important email. In actual fact, it pulled it out, pulled the result in French because my language for the interface is in French, even though the original content in this case was in English. But it was able to come and pull out, what I need to know. I need to know the phone number so I can join this Teams meeting by phone. And then it's also provided me with the PIN number so I can actually, get into the meeting. So let's go look at another example. This time, we're going to call upon Copilot, but from the Office 365 online interface. All right, so I'm going to put my password for this user. I don't need to stay connected. Translate to French from French. Actually, you know what? Let's try it. Perfect. All right, so this user has a Copilot license from Copilot from Microsoft 365 license. So we now have the Copilot app that appears when we log in to office.com. So there's these couple of basic prompts which, okay, are now in French. But once again, comprendre l'essentiel. This is give me the gists of an email, or in this case, I'm going to ask it to give me the gist of this document. So this is that same document that we asked Copilot before to give us, to produce a summary for us. This time we didn't go into the application and tell it to act on that document. We're just coming in from we'll say the general interface, and from there we're already able to give it prompts. In this case, if we had asked, to interact with Excel, then obviously it would have gone into that Excel worksheet and pulled out some data. But this time we asked it for a summary of our marketing document. So it was able to give us a summary, but unfortunately the output is in French. But like I said, it's doing that because my language for my user at the moment is in French. But you know what? Let's go and change it. Now, yes, we will sign out, but that's okay. We'll sign back in. Just so this way we can produce some content that's more pertinent. There, so let's go look at all the apps. Actually, you know what? Let's go. Well, there we go. We'll just pull it from here. There, so we have our get the gist again, and we're going to tell it to come and pull up on that file. And here we have all our past our past Copilot interactions. So, if we want to go back to it, we can go back to it. There, so now it's producing English content now that the interface is in English, even though before the interface was in French and we are asking to pull from an English document, it was giving us the results in French. It's actually quite interesting. I hadn't tried that one yet. Still generating. There we go. Okay. So, and it's coming up with a few more additional prompts. Let's say, okay, can you provide more details about the distribution channels? All right, so let's do that. Of course, these are, suggestions from Copilot, but, nothing prevents us from putting in our own prompt and have it do something different for us if that's what we want. All right, so here we have the little results. You can even, copy that to your clipboard and then paste that into an email or a document, as you wish. So now let's look. It's also available from within Teams because now, once again, that user has a Copilot for Microsoft 365 license assigned to them. We have Copilot that's available from within Teams. And then once again, we have that same idea here, get the gist. But this time we're going to do something different. I'm going to tell it, generate ideas, and I'm going to tell it to go and pull, let's say, from that document. Let's just go see, if it's able to. We're going to do some team building around our sales of chai tea. All right, giving us some of the classics. All right. So, it's basically, like I said, these are some of the classics. But, we could ask us to give us something more proper, or let's say that, we had access to a retreat or to a spa, and then we could, angle it, towards that context as well. So basically, I mean, you're somewhat limited to your imagination in a way that, whatever you want Copilot to do or whatever sort of content you want it to produce, it will certainly give you a hand in doing that for you. All right, so let's go back to our presentation. I'm going to stop the share for now. I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to share. Actually, hang on. I'm going to share that in the other mode. My apologies. I'm going to share in live mode so that way the content will be accessible for you. Hang on. Sorry about that. I always have a hard time sharing for some reason. Here. My prompting. Okay. Acting up on me. All right, hang on. All right, perfect. So there we go. Okay, and we're off. Everybody see my screen okay? I think so. Did you guys give me a confirmation if you can see my screen? All right, perfect, super. All right, so our next step. Now, the whole purpose of this series, we started with the first one where we introduced Copilot. We talked about security. We talked about data migration. Today, we're going a little more in depth into, how we can use Copilot on a day-to-day basis and what some of the interactions are. But the whole idea behind this is to give you, the partners, an opportunity. So Microsoft makes monies available in this case through what are called SMB briefings. So what this entails is you have to do at least two briefings with three clients or more in order to be eligible. And this is you're then awarded $1,500 US. just for holding. So in this case, it would be, 1,500 US times two, because you have to hold at least two sessions with three or more clients. And this is only as well available for clients who do not currently have Microsoft 365 Business Premium, or customers that do not have at the moment Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now, if you can get, one of these three or more clients to purchase 10 licenses or more of Business Premium or Copilot for Microsoft 365, then you get an additional $1,000 US. So the whole idea behind this is is to help you with your monthly recurring revenue. It is to drive sales, but it's also to drive the adoption of the product. And like I said, Microsoft also provides assistance to you. We provide assistance to you. We'll put you in contact with people from Microsoft. Microsoft have actual people, resources that are going to guide you through this process. They're going to tell you how to, put together a sales pitch. They're going to help you, how to engage with the customers, how you go about, selling the products, and how to talk it up to your customers. Now, in order to do so, however, you have to be nominated for this program. So what that means is if you use that QR code or fill out that form, we'll have on our side, Majida will give you a hand in this. She will look at your situation with you and who your potential clients are, and just to make sure that those are qualifying customers and that you're ready to go ahead with this. And then she'll put you in touch with someone from Microsoft. And then they will, like I said, provide assistance for you, get you all set up so you can take the next step forward in this. This is the introduction of our new booking link. So now the specialist team now have their own link at IT Cloud. Some of you are familiar, I'm pretty sure, with the support side. On the Microsoft support side, the support team have their own booking link, with the different technical support assistance, depending on what the product is. Well, we have somewhat the same approach, where we have made 10 services available to you so that you are able, to talk with us and to interact with us depending on what your needs are. The Microsoft specialists are basically your pre-sales technical specialists. We're here to look at you, to look with you, at a specific situation or a specific product. You're thinking of implementing some sort of initiative with a customer. Can I do this with what I have at the moment? Or I'm thinking of, using such and such a functionality inside of a license. Do I need this license, or what can the license do for me? Well, that's what we're here for. Myself, Anis, and others were able to, help you with this newly formed team with Steve Noel at the head. We're here to provide you guys with technical assistance so that you're able to evaluate the situation properly. You can come up with the right recommendations, the right product, the right product purchase, and then, we'll give you the guidelines, how you can go about implementing it, and then you go and implement it. Everything is fine, or something changes, or you want to add a functionality, but it seems to be conflicting with something else. You're coming upon a technical difficulty. Well, then, we would guide you over to our support team with Cal Lemo at the head. And those guys will be there to help you with any technical issues at that moment. All right, did you know we're going to introduce some new offerings for you? IT Cloud is now collaborating with Silbert, and this is a platform for your customers where you can resell some training to them. Now, this is user based or geared towards office staff, your customers, employees, and more specifically, Microsoft 365 training, or what we call efficiency training. In other words, to help people to use the applications that are found in the Office 365 suite in order for them to make better use of it, to be more productive. And as well, the collaborative work ecosystem, how to use all those collaboration platforms, how to be more efficient in your day. So that's a product that's available through the IT Cloud portal at the moment. So once again, if you have any questions, this would be geared. You can call us definitely, but you can call as well our colleagues from the partner network at IT Cloud, and they'll be able to give you a hand on that. This is another new offering where we have as well struck up a partnership with Udemy. So at the moment, we've identified from the Udemy platform, we've identified 50 courses, that we feel would be pertinent. And this is for your staff. This is technical training, more specifically technical training, that leads to certifications. And on the Udemy platform, the instructors, provide really good content, as well as there are practice exams available. So, you can do a run through before you decide that you're actually ready, and go ahead and you know put that voucher through the mill, and register and schedule that exam, that certification exam. We're also going to make available the our training recordings from our IT Cloud Academy. At the moment, those videos were stored on a different platform, but those are now going to be available as well, for IT Cloud Academy members on Udemy. So we're changing things up a little bit. We're trying to improve our service, and this is our new cost chart, our new price list that you can take a look at. This is for IT Cloud Academy subscriptions. Now, depending on your needs, you should be able to build, a package for yourself, whether you want to go, per user, or you want to target just a specific technical training, or you want to buy something for the whole year. Once again, whatever your needs are, it's there for you. And our YouTube channel. So as Anis mentioned before, we are now on YouTube. So what you're going to find on YouTube is today's presentation, as well as the first presentation in this series of the Microsoft Business Premium and Copilot Excellence Program. That first session is already on YouTube. Today's session will be on YouTube. And what we're doing is we're also migrating some of the content that we had accessible through the partner or IT Cloud partner portal, where normally some of these videos were stored there. Now those videos are going to be stored on our YouTube channel. So it stay up to date. Keep going back, and you'll see more and more content pop up on that YouTube channel. All right. Any questions? Do we have any questions, Anis?
Good afternoon,
Um,
everyone. Yes, we have a question here that wasn't answered. Um, can we view the audit logs for the prompt we are testing?
well, for that, we need
Oh,
to get into the admin account. Um, Maybe what we can do is we can send him an email with the logs after the presentations. But I think that's the only question unanswered. Um, Oh, well, if you want to view them, is like I showed you, it's in the Copilot segment in the admin center. I can share my screen and show it again if you want to, but it's just in under the Copilot segment, and then you can just click on audit. Do you have offer assistance with installation? I think, but do you know, Sylvan, if we offer those kinds of service?
My understanding is we don't, not at we can provide some assistance, but a full-fledged service, with installation. But then again, just contact us, whether use the booking link or send an email to partners at itcloud.ca with your question, and they will forward us your inquiry, and we can most definitely take a look at it. All right. Any other questions? I see someone with their hand up. Oh, okay. All right. Is someone in the okay, I think that one might have been answered about the self-assessment for co-pilots readiness. How is that made available to them? I
So
do see some.
Emily, if you want, you can type in your question in the chat, and we'll answer it.
Does anyone have any other questions? Like I just said, just put them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them now, or if not, we'll get back to you later with an answer. All right. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A section, or I don't see any other questions in the chat.
The customer can have business premium, but not Copilot or neither. Um, mm, mm, mm. So it's Emily. She got a question regarding the SMB briefings. Um, so she's asking if the client, the customer must have either business premium but not Copilot, or neither. The new briefing qualifies for the same incitative structure as the current do more with Microsoft 365 Business Premium briefing. What I suggest you is that we can get back to you via email after this presentation, and
Uh,
or
Excuse me.
maybe Majida, if you have any answers at the moment.
Yes. There is two different briefings, Emily. One on do more with less with the business premium, and the other one is get AI ready. So it's two different briefings. So if you want to showcase your customers the Copilot, then it's better if you go with the second briefings. So Emily, I know that you already did some presentation already on the business premium. So if you are interested in giving other presentation in Q4, like between April and June, on Get AI Ready, please just fill out the form and we will nominate you again for the program. I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, I think so. Her hand is no longer up. All right. So I think this concludes this session number 2.
Yes, once again, thanks everyone for tuned in, and have a nice day.
All right. Thank you, everyone.